Hi, I'm Jenny from Dreadlocks Sydney, and here's a few tips for those of you thinking about getting some dreads. So these are the things you want to avoid doing if you're after tight, good-looking locks. YouTube is a great website, but it has led people astray when it comes to thinking it's easy to give yourself dreadlocks. Here's a typical message I'll get from someone. My hair is naturally curly, so I figured how hard can it be to dread it myself? Turns out it was a lot harder than I thought. Can you clean up my attempt? We can, and we did, but it's always preferable to have your locks done properly from the get-go than to have a home job salvaged. Amateur is defined as someone who does something as a hobby rather than professionally. Unfortunately, a lot of people doing dreadlocks classify themselves as professionals but have no real training or extensive experience. This is the kind of email I'll get when someone learns this the hard way. I attached photos, and I'm just wondering if it's typical for professionally done dreadlocks to look like this when they're finished. Oh, well, no. If you've had to sit on your bum for hours and pay good money for the privilege, this isn't what you want to see. So you're not getting a friend or a hobbyist to do your dreads, but what about someone who talks the talk? Be sure to check out how experienced they are before you commit to having a loctician do your dreads. I've worked with hair for 25 years and focused solely on locks for the last 10. There is nothing like the hard-fought wisdom that comes from experience. Here's another typical message I will get. So what I actually wanted was my hair partially dreaded in thin locks and a slightly grown-out look. Instead, I got a full head of beeswax that won't come out of my non-dreaded hair and a severe case of post-dready depression. Are you able to help me, please? This is how dreads look when they're done professionally. With every service, there are always a few bargain basement people out there to tempt you by saving a few bucks. Here is a photo and a message from someone who found this out when she got some dreadlocks and extensions put in. I learned the hard way that you get what you pay for. Help! Here's an after shot when I cleaned them up. Better off not to pay twice and have them done as good as possible first time round. There are a few ways to get dreadlocks done. Apart from the use of chemicals and the pain of having your scalp burnt, dread perms lead to breakage and hair loss. Using wax or the rip and twist method is also less than ideal. I've tried all the methods and found that the natural one of crocheting gives the best result. The worst thing you can do is use wax when forming your dreadlocks or trying to keep them tidy. Dreads take time to mature. Trying to limit the frizz by using wax is a bad idea. Understanding that wax makes everything greasy leads some inventive types to experiment with other bonding substances such as superglue. The less said, the better. And my last tip is to avoid the pitfalls of becoming obsessed or even possessed by your dreads. Dreadlocks have been known traditionally as a letting go process in many cultures, but with our culture being so hung up on appearances, many people resist the maturity process of dreads. They go through messy stages just like an enduring relationship. Here's an example of getting too attached to your locks. Although her dreads are longer than a bus, she wants to go even bigger. Despite doctors warning it could paralyze her, dreads are a lifestyle, not something that should cripple you. So I hope some of these tips are helpful, and I'll leave you with a testimonial from one of my clients. If you'd like to know more about getting dreadlocks done, take a look at my website, dreadlockssydney.com.